Good afternoon. I am driving home today, so I thought I'd share some of my thoughts per the usual. Well, what's hopefully it will become the usual. And had was working today. Had some interesting side reading I did here and there while I had some downtime in between some things I was doing. And one of the interesting things that I went through is, and I would encourage everybody to do if you have the stomach for it. The Jeffrey Epstein emails. If you go to jmail.world, you can look through in kind of a Gmail format a lot of the pictures and images that have been released publicly so far. And there's some fascinating things that you can, like rabbit holes you can get into. And one of the ones I stumbled across today was Mr. Epstein's 23andMe account. Um, and I mean, there's a lot of oddities of things that he's talking about in email exchanges, but I found it fascinating that he has a 23andMe account. But also, what's fascinating about the 23andMe account is he was buying a lot of tests, and he was buying a lot of tests and sending them to the Emirates, like having them flown to handed off to somebody for the Emiratis, which was interesting. But he also had a lot of tests that he had purchased for himself and that he was using. And he had people reaching out that were saying that they were family. Um, just a fascinating block of things going on that Jeffrey Epstein is got people reaching out that were like, oh, we don't know that we're related to Epstein's, but we're second cousins, and they're laying out their genealogy, trying to understand where he fits in. And I don't know that those individuals knew that he was Jeffrey Epstein, the Jeffrey Epstein. They might have. I mean, that's open for, they probably just saw something and message like, oh, we're cousins. Specifically, all of his stuff was on 23andMe, though, that I thought was also interesting. Along with his DNA tests and families, and he's buying a lot of tests. Like there's a ton of tests that he's purchasing and sending places, and he's doing the full. He's doing like full genetic tests and workups for all of these people that he's sending these tests to. Who knows who he's giving them to? That's up for debate. But he's just sending all sorts of tests all over the place. Which is weird. I'd be fascinated to understand the end goal on there. I mean, there are implications, like he was, trying to like clone, and he was trying to have kids, and he was trying to do a bunch of stuff. So there's implications there. I did have a weird overlap with a company I used to work for. In that the Jmail, you can look at his Amazon cart and a whole bunch of stuff that was purchased. And there's a lot of just everyday kind of household item stuff he's buying, which is weird because just the sheer quantity he's buying, it's not like you would expect the billionaire elite to buy knives on Amazon. And not like nice knives, just like regular kitchen knives. I would expect people like that to, oh, I've got, Japanese knives, but these something weird's going on because he's buying like regular rugs for an apartment, and he's buying knives, and he's buying children's toys, a lot of like children's toys, which was super creepy. But I like looking through his Amazon purchase history. Like, yes, there's a lot of weird and terrifying things in there, but from the company that I used to work for, looking at their products, I began to think, had like a bunch of like families and stuff that he was taking care of, or something was going on there because of the products he was buying. Like you don't just buy those particular products. Like one was a fold out couch. And then there was like a bunch of like mattress toppers. And I remember at the time we were joked about like, ah ha ha, I wonder if this is like the Jeffrey Epstein. And I am able to independently confirm it was. And they were sent to his New York home. But that was fascinating. Like I was able to independently confirm from the Amazon cart and from the company that sold them that those were actually sold to him. Those are actually to his New York address and everything, which is fascinating. Which I mean, everybody knows that New York address, so it's not like secret information. I mean, it is a little funny that a company that like focused so much on like fighting against human sex trafficking ultimately had some of their products purchased by a sex trafficker. I mean, you can't. I mean, without knowing, like they're not put on like a do not sell list or something like that. Like it's a fairly innocent thing as like that company not knowing that they're sending that product to them, which could like that company also did a ton of work with Wayfair and things like that. So I wonder where the idea came from for all those like interestingly priced and named products on Wayfair. But I think it might be an interesting thread for somebody to pull on, smarter than me. It might be on Jeffrey Epstein's 23andMe account and his genealogy and like the people he was connected to and some of the messaging that was going on and who he was sending those tests to. That might be fascinating to dive into. Uh, Interesting, lovely drive today. It snowed. We finally got some snow. So that's fascinating. Hopefully, we get enough to fill up our aquifers and have a little snowpack stored in the mountains for the later summer, so we don't have an absolutely terrible year. We need the Great Salt Lake and others to come up and level. I know that was a hard pivot. I know a lot of a hubbubaloo in the UFO community and around is caused because Obama said aliens are real, and then cleaning up the comment. And he seems to have cleaned up the comment in the moment too. I wonder though. I wonder how much he actually knows because he also hints at like, oh, unless there's a conspiracy to hide this from the president of the United States, which, if you've listened to UAP Gerb, is 100% what has happened. The lovely city of Manaway. A great way to identify people from northern Utah is, do they say Manaway correctly? It's not spelled Manaway, but it is sure said Manaway. Also, people say mountain, say Manaway, not Mantua, Manaway. You can always pick out people from Utah, how they say Layton, Mountain, Milk. It's Layton, Mountain, Milk. that's all my thoughts I had right now. A little short one today. Maybe I'll get back on later if I have other thoughts. But have a great one.